Have you ever scrolled through Instagram on someone's birthday and seen nothing? No posts, no stories, no celebration announcements. Meanwhile, your feed is full of other people throwing massive parties, posting countdowns, basically treating their birthday like a national holiday. And you think to yourself, wait, do some people really just let their birthday pass by like it's nothing? Like it's just another Tuesday? The answer is yes. And honestly, the psychology behind it is way more fascinating than you'd think. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you might finally understand why you or someone you know acts this way. And trust me, the reasons go deeper than you'd expect. Chapter 1. The Forgotten Ones. Let's start with the most heartbreaking reason. Some people don't celebrate their birthday because deep down, they've learned not to expect anything from it. Picture this. You're a kid, maybe 7 or 8 years old. It's your birthday. You're excited. You told your friends at school. You reminded your parents. Maybe you even circled the date on the calendar in red marker. But then the day comes and nobody says anything. Your friends are busy. Your family forgets. Maybe one person remembers at like 9 p.m. and says, "Oh right, happy birthday," in passing. And you smile and say thanks, but inside, you feel invisible. Now imagine that happening year after year. Eventually, your brain stops expecting anything different. Psychologists have a term for this. It's called learned helplessness. It's when repeated disappointment teaches you to stop hoping for good outcomes. Your mind basically says, why get excited? It's just going to hurt again. So you stop celebrating. Not because you don't want to, but because hoping feels worse than not caring at all. And here's the thing. This doesn't just happen with birthdays. People who experience this often carry the same emotional pattern into relationships, careers, even dreams. They stop putting themselves out there because they've been let down too many times. The birthday becomes a symbol, a reminder of every time they felt forgotten. So they treat it like nothing, because treating it like something would mean risking that pain all over again. It's a defense mechanism, a way to protect the heart from breaking one more time. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. If celebration leads to disappointment, why celebrate at all? But the sad part is, these people often do care. They just don't show it anymore. They've built walls so high that even they forget what's behind them. Chapter 2. The Overthinkers. Then there's another group. The people who don't celebrate their birthday because honestly, they just don't have the mental space for it. These are the ones juggling 10 things at once. Work projects, school deadlines, family drama, personal goals. Their brain is constantly running on overdrive. And when their birthday rolls around, it's like, oh, that's today. Cool. Anyway, back to this report that's due tomorrow. This isn't about not caring. It's about cognitive overload. Modern life has this way of making everything feel urgent. Emails, texts, notifications, responsibilities. Your attention gets pulled in 1,000 directions. And when your brain is that overloaded, special days stop feeling special. Psychologists call this time blindness. It's when you're so consumed by immediate tasks that you lose track of the bigger picture. Days blend together. Weeks disappear. And suddenly your birthday is just another square on a calendar you barely look at. But here's what's interesting. These people often feel guilty about it later. They'll realize a week after their birthday that they didn't do anything, and they'll think, man, I should have done something. But in the moment, they genuinely couldn't stop. It's like they're on a treadmill that never slows down, and stepping off, even for one day, feels impossible. This group also tends to prioritize other people's birthdays over their own. They'll throw a party for a friend, bake a cake for a coworker, remember everyone else's special day. But when it comes to themselves, nothing. Because somewhere along the way, they internalize the idea that taking time for themselves is selfish, that their own celebration isn't as important as everything else they need to get done. And society doesn't help. We glorify being busy. We praise people who work through their birthday, who don't need a break, who can function on 3 hours of sleep. So when someone skips their own birthday celebration, we call them dedicated, hardworking, selfless. When really, they might just be burned out, exhausted, running on empty, but too afraid to stop because stopping feels like failing. Chapter 3. The Self-Sufficient. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's a third group, And these people, they know it's their birthday. They're fully aware. They're not sad about it. They're not too busy. They just genuinely don't feel the need to celebrate it. And this, surprisingly, might be the healthiest mindset of all. Think about it. What is a birthday, really? It's a date, an arbitrary marker of time. And for a lot of people, it's also a day where they expect external validation, gifts, attention, social media likes, people telling them they matter. But here's the thing. People in this third group have already figured out that their worth isn't tied to a single day. They don't need balloons and cake to feel valued. They don't need a room full of people singing to feel loved, because they've found something deeper, something internal. This is what psychologists call emotional independence. It's the ability to feel whole without needing constant validation from others. And it's closely linked to self-determination theory, which says that true well-being comes from three things: autonomy, the freedom to make your own choices; competence, the feeling that you're capable and growing; and relatedness, meaningful connections with others. Notice what's not on that list: external celebrations, public recognition, performative displays of affection. People in this group have realized something profound. Every day is a gift, not just the day they were born. So why wait once a year to feel special? Why tie your sense of self-worth to whether people remember to text you on a specific date? For them, maturity means understanding that their value doesn't fluctuate based on outside circumstances. It's stable, it's internal, it's theirs. And honestly, this mindset extends beyond birthdays. These are often the people who don't need constant praise at work to feel accomplished. They don't need their relationship to be Instagram official to feel secure. They don't need to post every achievement to feel proud. They're quietly confident, quietly content, not because they don't care what others think, but because they've stopped letting others define how they should feel about themselves. Chapter 4. The deeper meaning. But let's go even deeper. Because here's what most people don't realize. How you treat your birthday reveals how you navigate life. No, seriously. Your birthday is like a mirror. It reflects your relationship with attention, validation, and self-worth. People who throw huge parties and post everywhere, they often crave external validation. And that's not a bad thing. Humans are social creatures. We're wired to want connection, recognition, celebration. But when that need becomes the only source of happiness, it creates a problem. Because what happens when nobody shows up? When the posts don't get enough likes? When the celebration doesn't live up to expectations? The crash is brutal. On the flip side, people who treat their birthday like nothing often fall into one of those three categories we talked about. They've either been hurt and don't want to risk it again, they're overwhelmed and can't make space for it, or they've transcended the need for it altogether. And each of these reveals something about how they handle disappointment, stress, and self-perception in everyday life. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine two people. Person A celebrates their birthday with a massive party every year. Tons of people, decorations, the whole thing. Person B does nothing. Just another day. Now ask yourself, who's happier? The truth is, you can't know just from that information. Because happiness isn't about what you do on your birthday. It's about why you do it. Person A might throw parties because they genuinely love bringing people together. That's beautiful. But they might also throw parties because they're terrified of being alone with their thoughts. Person B might skip celebrating because they're emotionally independent. That's admirable. But they might also skip it because they're isolated and don't think anyone would show up anyway. The action is the same. The psychology behind it is completely different. And that's why understanding this matters. Because it's not about judging whether someone should or shouldn't celebrate their birthday. It's about understanding what drives their choice. And maybe, just maybe, understanding what drives your own. Chapter 5. The loneliness question. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Are people who don't celebrate their birthday lonely? The short answer is, sometimes. The longer answer is, it's complicated. People in that first group, the ones with learned helplessness, yeah, they're often lonely. But it's not a surface-level loneliness. It's deeper. It's the kind of loneliness that comes from feeling unseen. Like, you could disappear and nobody would notice. That's a heavy weight to carry. And ignoring your birthday doesn't make it go away. It just hides it for another year. People in the second group, the overthinkers, they might feel isolated too, but in a different way. They're surrounded by people and responsibilities, but they still feel alone because nobody sees how much they're struggling. They wear a mask of being fine and busy when really they're drowning, and their birthday becomes another task they don't have time for, which just reinforces the feeling that they don't matter. But people in the third group, the emotionally independent ones, they're usually not lonely at all, at least not in the way we typically think about loneliness. Sure, they're human. They have moments of feeling disconnected or wanting deeper relationships, but they've learned something powerful. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Solitude can be peaceful. Quiet can be fulfilling. You don't need a crowd to feel complete. These people have often done the inner work. They've built a strong sense of self. They know who they are, what they value, and what brings them joy. And because of that foundation, they don't need external events to validate their existence. Their birthday is just a day. A nice day, maybe, but not the defining measure of their worth. Chapter 6. Breaking the pattern. So what if you're in that first or second group? What if you don't celebrate your birthday because of pain or overwhelm? Can you change that? Absolutely. But it starts with awareness. If you're in the learned helplessness category, the first step is acknowledging the hurt. You have to admit that those past disappointments still affect you, that it's okay to have wanted more, that it's okay to still want more. And then, slowly, you have to start creating new experiences. Maybe you don't throw a big party. Maybe you just do one small thing that makes you happy. Go to your favorite restaurant alone. Buy yourself something meaningful. Take a day off work and do absolutely nothing. The point is to start rewriting the narrative, to show your brain that your birthday can be different. If you're in the cognitive overload category, the answer is boundaries. You have to give yourself permission to step off the treadmill, even if it's just for a few hours. Tell your boss you're taking the day off. Turn off your phone. Let people know you're unavailable. And then use that time to rest. Not to be productive, not to catch up on errands, just rest. Because you deserve it. Not because it's your birthday, but because you're a human being who needs breaks. And if you're in that third category, the emotionally independent one, honestly, you're probably doing fine. But even you might benefit from occasionally letting people celebrate you. Not because you need it, but because connection is beautiful. Letting others show love doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Chapter 7. The bigger picture. Here's the truth that nobody talks about. Birthdays are weird. They're this arbitrary cultural construct that we've assigned massive emotional weight to. But at the end of the day, they're just a reminder that time is passing. And how you choose to acknowledge that passing of time says a lot about how you view life itself. Some people see birthdays as milestones, markers of achievement. Another year survived, another year of growth, and that's valid. Others see them as reminders of mortality. Another year older, another year closer to the end, and that's valid too. And some people just see them as days, no better, no worse than any other. And guess what? That's also valid. There's no right or wrong way to treat your birthday, but there is a healthy way and an unhealthy way. The healthy way is rooted in self-awareness. You know why you do what you do. You're not running from pain. You're not performing for others. You're making a conscious choice that aligns with your values. The unhealthy way is rooted in avoidance. You're ignoring your birthday because dealing with it feels too hard, too painful, too much. So ask yourself, when your birthday comes around, are you making a choice? Or are you just reacting to old wounds? Because one leads to peace, and the other leads to more of the same. So, which group do you fall into? Are you someone who doesn't celebrate because you've been hurt too many times? Because you're too busy to notice? Or because you've genuinely found peace within yourself? Maybe you're a mix of all three. Maybe it changes from year to year, and that's okay. The point isn't to fit into a neat category. The point is to understand yourself better. Because here's the ultimate takeaway. Your birthday doesn't define you, but how you treat it reveals how you treat yourself. Do you believe you're worthy of celebration? Do you give yourself permission to pause and exist? Do you need others to validate your worth, or have you learned to validate it yourself? These are the real questions, and the answers matter way beyond just one day a year. If this video made you think about birthdays differently, or if you're starting to understand yourself a little better, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Because we're diving deep into psychology topics like this all the time. Real psychology. The kind that actually explains why you do what you do. Not surface level stuff, but the patterns, the behaviors, the beliefs that shape your entire life. And if you want to keep this conversation going, drop a comment below. Tell me which group you relate to most. Are you the hurt one, the busy one, or the independent one? Or maybe you're something completely different. I read every comment, and I love hearing your perspectives. Remember, whether you throw the biggest party of the year or treat your birthday like any other day, you're not weird. You're not broken. You're just human, trying to navigate this thing called life. And understanding why you do what you do, that's the first step to doing it better. All right, I'll see you in the next video. And hey, whenever your birthday is, I hope you treat yourself with kindness. You deserve it.